Your new Wednesday addiction. Humpin' it with Mello, D83, and the Maestro.
Hello and welcome, everyone. The week is almost over. You're halfway there. It's Wednesday, hump day, and you're now humping it with Mello, D83, and the Maestro. Please get your mind out of the gutter.
And into this special Veterans Day edition of Humpin' It Podcast. Thank y'all for tuning once again. As always, we appreciate your love and support. And it's the best hour of your life. I just want to say that every time because it is. Hopefully, you'll come back. Again, special edition. We're going to celebrate Veterans Day today. We have a special guest. And for that, I'm going to kick it over to Mello.
Well, thank you. So, in honor of Veterans Day, I wanted to give a little bit of history, some facts. Veterans Day was originated as Armistice Day on November 11th, 1919. And it was the first anniversary of the end of World War I. Congress passed a resolution in 1926, making it an annual observance, and it became a national holiday in 1938. So, for those of y'all who are like, well, I don't get that day off. I'm sorry. Unfortunately, state and local governments can decide whether or not they make it a holiday. So, I'm sorry.
The level of disrespect.
Another thing is sometimes people wonder what the difference is between Veterans Day and Memorial Day. So, a quick differentiation. Memorial Day is really a day that we celebrate those who have given the ultimate sacrifice and are no longer here with us. Veterans Day is to honor and celebrate those that are still here with us, and we use that to give them really all of the honor and praise that they deserve. And I know I've mentioned probably in the past, every day should be Veterans Day because without them, we would not have this country that we have the many freedoms we celebrate on a daily basis.
Big facts.
You know, definitely, it's one of my favorite holidays. So I would love to introduce, it's my honor and pleasure, Mr. Anthony Chase, my husband, who y'all have heard me talk about many times on the podcast. Thank you for being with us today. We really do appreciate it. If you don't mind, we'd love to talk with you a little bit, pick your brain about your military career. We're grateful to the brave souls like you for your service and sacrifice. But on Veterans Day, we especially want to highlight and honor you for what you have done and given to this country. It takes an extraordinary individual to be able to put others above self, and willing to give the ultimate sacrifice if needed. For those you don't know, for those who don't appreciate, and even those who may hate you. Not only that, but to stick it out and put in at least 20 years to be able to say you are retired. So...
Amen to that. Oh, man. Amen to that.
You like that commissary privilege, don't you, baby?
Yeah.
That is nice.
Those perks, you know what I'm saying? Those perks.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So let's get this thing on and popping. D83. I know you got some questions out here. What you got?
Yes, sir. Again, first and foremost, thank you very much for your service. Greatly appreciated. What branch of the military did you join?
I joined the United States Navy. out of
Nice, nice.
Washington, D.C.
Good deal. When did you join?
That would have been April the 17th of 1980.
You remember that like it was yesterday.
Yeah,
Like, boom.
it was less than a year out of high school.
Wow.
Got you. Got you. Washington. Now, where were you originally from, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, Washington, D.C.
Oh, Washington, D.C. Okay, okay.
Yeah, I wouldn't have been nowhere else.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Gotcha. Didn't know if you were thinking of traveling and
We
so on and
used to
so
call
forth.
D.C. our four-cornered room. It was only 10 by 10, you know?
Uh,
Right.
feel you on that one.
Gotcha.
It was something else back in the day, man.
I can only imagine.
Hmm.
Oh, I can only imagine.
Yes.
What what did you do?
I was an aircraft mechanic. I went to A school for to be an AD, which is an aviation machinist mate. And I was pretty much a crewman, and later on I was a crewman, and I did my whole 20 years down in Norfolk there working on helicopters. I could have worked on jets, but my NEC wouldn't let me work on fixed wing like jets and everything else. I had to do all types of helicopters.
Gotcha. What was the reasoning behind that?
Oh, because that was my specialty,
Okay.
helicopters. You got guys that can do helicopters and go to squadrons with jets and everything, but that wasn't in the stars for me. They kept me straight up helicopters in
Gotcha.
the same on the same base with six different squadrons that I had to work at.
Wow.
Now, prior to us starting, I believe that you had mentioned that you went on your first day with a really close friend of yours. Is that correct?
Yes, we went to boot camp together. We were in high school together, and we were real very tight. We're tight to this day, and
That, and that's what I
you
was going to
know,
ask. That is
yeah,
awesome.
I love that brother, man. And we went into the Navy together, and in boot camp we got split up to where he went to the West Coast and I went to the East Coast. But
Nice.
you have a communication line to where you can find a veteran or whatever wherever he is, because you're in the military and you want to connect with somebody that you know, and they can find that person for you.
Ah,
Nice.
gotcha.
That's good
So I
stuff.
talked to him a couple times while he was over there on the West Coast.
Nice. That is good. That is awesome. Now, was that like a spur of the moment, or have y'all been were y'all talking about joining for, quite a while as y'all were,
Oh,
you know?
it took him quite a while, I believe. I was pretty much was going to do it, and I told him about the idea, and he just decided, well, he was thinking about it. He didn't say anything at first, and then he said, "Okay, let's go." So we went on the buddy plan.
Oh, okay. Hey, man. That's all right. That's all right.
Indeed. Now, can you explain to us what those jobs entailed, like the machinist? What
Oh,
exactly would you do?
I was a helicopter mechanic. I pretty much did all the mechanical components, rotor blades, rotor heads, uh, transmissions, drivetrain. Yeah, everything just basically like what you would have on a car, except these were a lot bigger, and some of these components you had to have cranes take off things, and
Right.
man, you had to have really heavy equipment to take some of these parts that when we had to take it apart. And then
Wow.
the other one was crewman, and that was basically in charge, in on the aircraft going with the pilots. And it's usually two of you. Got a SAR crewman, and then you got a utility crewman. So started off, that's how I started off.
Sounds extremely complicated.
Yeah,
I'm
it is.
sure,
It's not.
working on.
It's not complicated because if you're driven by money, SAR crewmen's they got SRB bonuses, and when you're a crewman and you want to switch over to SAR crewman for that SRB bonus, you can do it. You can do it.
Get that bag, baby. That's what it
Yes,
is.
sir. You want that bonus, man.
So now, just real quick to kind of piggyback off that. So the as a crewman, so basically your job is just to make repairs on the fly. Like, so if y'all deploy somewhere, you're there to make repairs if something happens, or
Yeah, if I'm in the air with the aircraft or whatever, I can call it whether or not we would have to land wherever we have to land if it was too severe. And then we would get the rest of the crew, the mechanics and stuff like that, to where we're located and, to bring the parts and whatnot. We'll fix it, get back in the air and get it back home.
gotcha. Okay, cool. It's good stuff, man.
Now,
Good stuff.
another question for me. You had said that it's, some of the like mechanical work on a vehicle, obviously at a larger scale. Do you do mechanical work now? Do you, tinker
Oh
around with the
yeah,
vehicle?
oh yeah,
Oh,
man.
okay. All right.
I always had a fast car when I was in the service. Built.
Do
Oh
tell.
my goodness, man! My first car that I had was a 1971 Maverick, and I bought that from my grandmother when I was in high school. Matter of fact, that's what I drove when I got my driver's license. And of course, when I took it down there to Norfolk, I mean, she went through a whole change. Matter of fact, she was so pretty that Super Ford magazine came all the way down to Norfolk. One of their photographers and took some pictures of the helicopter. I mean, took pictures of the car on a helicopter spot, and I'm very, very proud of that moment. And I gave one of the magazines to the commanding officer because he was the one that made it possible for me to get into a security area on the flight line and have the photographer shoot the pictures of the car. And
That's dope, man.
Nice.
That's
yeah,
dope.
That is
man.
awesome.
And he said that he never knew anybody that had ever had anything done like that. And then he was like, and I got one right here in my command.
That's all
So
right,
I
man.
so I autographed the magazine. I gave one to my mother, my father, everybody that I knew. I gave it to them.
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
Yes, that is incredible.
That was then, and I put my wife's car together. I just can't stop messing with cars, man.
Yes, this
I
is
do.
true.
I know. I just take them all apart, put them back together. I've seen a lot of guys take them apart, have the dream of doing what they want to do, and they just fall a
Don't
little
follow through.
short. You really
Yeah.
got to know if you can really do this and stick to it because it can. If you don't know how to do the work, it can be very expensive for somebody else to do it.
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
This is very true.
You
Absolutely.
know.
I know that all too well.
Oh yeah.
That is one thing I
So
wish I knew how to do is work on a vehicle.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
yeah.
I can do none of that.
Man.
So
And
what?
it
Go ahead.
no,
So what places were you stationed at?
you wouldn't believe this. My whole 20 years, I was stationed at NAS Norfolk, right there on the air station. I bounced from squadron to squadron to squadron to squadron. The admiral at Comair Lance said, "You pretty much have been in all the squadrons that I'm in command of." I'm like, I saw junior officers leave, and when they came back, they were maintenance officers. Some came back as XOs, and they would like laughing, like, "You still here?" I said, "Yeah, I'm still here." And I would always sing that "Welcome Back Carter" song to them. Like, "Hey, you thought you could get away from this place, didn't you? Right back on this same base where you started from."
All right.
That's
Man.
awesome.
But I had a very, very nice career. I mean, of course I had my downs, but I never let the downs get me down. I just was in a dark place sometimes, but you can always say there's always light at the end of the tunnel,
Yeah,
and you just have
absolutely.
to wait your time to come out. And
That's
that's
right.
it. It's beautiful.
That's right,
That's
man.
right.
Don't
Well
panic.
said.
Don't panic. Don't because you're gonna come out. No
Yeah,
question to it. You just got to deal with it when you're in the dark.
that's right. That's right.
Well
That's good.
said.
That's good advice just for life in general, right?
Oh yeah.
Yes,
Man,
sir.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
absolutely.
sir.
Good deal. Well, I got a couple of three, four, five, six, seven questions for you, brother.
All right, Maestro, bring them on.
Yes, sir. So, how many deployments did you have in your career?
I had 7 deployments. I
Okay.
did 4 of them out at sea, 6, 7 month deployments, and the other uh, three were basically on shore, like in Bahrain. We did 6 and 7 month deployments there on land, and then we would rotate out and everything. And then I did one tour in Italy with the Com Com Six Fleet over there in the Mediterranean,
Wow.
and that
Wow.
staff duty was very good, very good. Staff duty was very good. We did Com Middle East Force, Com Second Fleet, Com Middle East.
Yeah. So,
Yes,
so when you say staff, what do you mean by that?
we
Like, what is?
maintained the admiral's helicopter,
Oh.
the big man. It was his personal helicopter, and we were tasked with taking care of it. If he needed it, we had it ready for him. If we were tasked with doing something, then I guess the admiral was the only one that would tell us that his aircraft could be used for it. So
Ah. Wow. Wow.
yeah, so
That's nice.
it was some steak and lobster type duty.
That's all right, man.
Believe me, man. That was one of my favorite duties right there with the staff. When I was
Yeah,
with HE2. Yeah.
man. That sounds real nice, man. Hey, day. All right. So, were there any conflicts or wars that you were directly or indirectly involved in?
Well, Shield and Storm was what they considered a war, but it ended so fast.
Yeah.
I think I slept through it. So it
I
wasn't too
got you.
much for the Navy to do. But
Right.
Right.
other than that, there was we were off the coast of Beirut, Lebanon in 1983, and we were not that far. We had just left Beirut, Lebanon back in '83 when they blew the place up in October,
Right.
and we had to turn around and come back in support of that, and that was
Yeah.
a terrible thing there. And we were up in the Black Sea, uh, doing some stuff off of the ship and everything, running into Yugoslavia, Bosnia, and everything like that. So
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Man, definitely got some traveling in, whether you wanted to or not.
yeah, I know, man, I know. Well, what's so funny is I got 2 stepsons, which are twins, and one is stationed over in Bahrain now, which is totally different than when I was over there. When
Yeah.
I used to get stationed, when I was stationed over there back in the '80s, we weren't allowed to cut our hair. We weren't allowed to cut our facial hair. We weren't allowed to wear uniforms. All we had were civilian clothes and
Really?
coveralls.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Wow.
yes,
Wow. Yeah, that's a huge difference, man.
Oh yeah.
Man. Okay.
yes. Big difference.
Wow. So, what are a few of your best memories while being in the Navy?
Oh, I met some of the best guys, man, that you could ever meet, and the guys uh, that were I was really close with. Pretty much, I still communicate with them. They still communicate with me, and we have our little reunion sometime. And
Oh, nice.
there's this one squadron that I was attached to that uh, I got messed up pretty bad, and they took me out of the squadron. And after that, I never had any communications with those guys, and that was like back in the '90s, I believe it was the early '90s, and I just now reacquainted with them guys again because I saw that they were having reunions, and I was a part of the team that was over there. So they were like, "Man, we thought you were dead."
Wow.
About time you resurfaced. Because here it is. Here it is. We were all of the guys that I'm talking about. We were all in our 20s and stuff like that.
Right.
Now we're all in our 60s and stuff. So
Wow.
Wow.
yeah, I
40
know,
years, man.
man.
That's
I know because
amazing.
after I detached from them after I got hurt, I got limb due and I never went back to see anybody, and so
Yeah.
on, so on. Just kept it moving.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then, my second career was with the railroad, and I was keeping on, focused and everything like that. And it wasn't until after I retired, I was like, oh, let me go check on see these guys are doing. I
Right.
feel
Right.
like, hey, I did all my homework. Now I can go out and play.
There you
So
go.
Right?
it was good
Exactly.
it was good catching up with them, and my wife and I, we looking forward to going to one of their reunions. I think they're
Nice.
having one in 2 years, so it's not 2004, but I think 2005. They're supposed to be up there in Maine or something. I think it is.
Right.
So we're gonna head on up, man, and it's just gonna be fun looking at. I've talked to them, but I haven't seen any of them.
Yeah. Got you. Got you. Yeah, that'll definitely
Yeah.
be a nice reunion, man. Just catch up
Oh yeah.
and you know, there's a lot of
And I
time to
int-
be caught up on.
Yeah, and I introduced them to because they were always asking, "Where's this guy? Where's that guy?" And it seems that I was in contact with those guys that they were looking for.
Oh, okay.
So it
Oh,
was here's the number, and then they talked and
Wow.
just reconnected the dots and
That's
stuff.
awesome, man. That's good
And
stuff, man.
they got their own web page and everything, man.
Oh, okay. Man,
Yeah,
that's good, man. Ain't nothing
one
like,
of the eh, hey, one of the guys that's down there. Oh, one of the guys that's down there, he's a police officer. He's a lieutenant down in Suffolk.
okay.
Uh, Troy Shelton, man. He was in the squadron with us. He was a paratroop rigger, a PR, and he was the one that turned me onto the site and everything where these guys
Oh,
have because he's a member of it. So he turned me onto the site and everything, and because me and Troy have been talking for since we pretty much ran into each other and when was it? The early 2000s or something like that. After I had retired, I ran into him over in Suffolk, and
okay.
we
Good stuff.
stayed friends. And
Yeah,
well, we
yeah.
were friends anyway, but we got reacquainted. So
Got you. Yeah, man. That's good stuff right there.
yeah, because when sometimes you get transferred, you just don't. It's like you there 1 minute, one of you going to get transferred before the other, and it's just like when you're in high school, you go to college, you're going to meet
Yeah,
new friends,
that's
and
right.
you're going to be doing the same thing those friends over here doing, and then you're not going to really forget about those friends, but those friends are going to make friends over there because they're doing what he's getting ready to do.
Exactly. Yeah, just kind of grow
Yeah,
apart, a little bit. Yeah, that's how life
and
goes.
if they're lucky, they can be on the base at the same, somewhere else. But most of the time, those guys they went to another state and was working for another outfit. So
Got you. Okay. I think I got one more here for you, and then I'll let Mello take over. So when did you retire?
I retired May 1st of 2000. Yeah,
Ah,
that's when I
Mello.
got my that's when I got my blue ID card.
Okay. Okay. And for some of the viewers that might not know, what is the blue ID card?
That's the retirement ID card because your
Okay.
active duty ID card is the green one.
Ah, got you. Okay.
Right.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So I know there's a certain length of time you have to remain in service before you can actually receive like veterans benefits. How long is that?
Well, when I was in, it was 20 years, and I
Okay.
know exactly. I did 20 years 1 week. just to make sure I had all the time and everything in so I can get my money. I didn't want to fall a day or two short, so I stayed an extra week.
Yes,
And
sir.
yeah, I got everything. So
Okay. Awesome. Good deal. All
this is,
right.
and I can tell you this.
Uh huh.
There was one time on my uh, DD 214, I had the squadron. We were somewhere, and what was so funny, the time ran out on me where I needed to have re-enlisted, and there were 2 days that I was with that squadron that I wasn't even
And
enlisted in the Navy anymore.
oh,
Oh,
Yes,
wow.
yes. That's why I had to get that 1 week just to make sure because I saw the break in the time because
yeah.
it was funny when they asked you, what were you doing in these 2 days or whatever? And like, you got out and then you came back in. I said, hey, get out. I was with the squadron. I couldn't re-enlist because we were somewhere where we couldn't re-enlist. So
Right. Got
Right.
you. Got you. Okay.
I thought that was funny.
That is.
Oh, yeah.
That was, that
You
was.
over there working for free, man. Hold on there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Hey, man. That's good, man. All right, Mello. You want to pick up?
Absolutely. So, what was assimilating back into civilian life like?
It was pretty easy. Uh, I was pretty much ready for it. The military has you pretty much ready for anything that comes around, whatever corner comes around, whatever comes up out of the ground, whatever comes out the air. I was ready for it.
Okay.
Good stuff, man.
What is one piece of advice you would share with young men and women who are considering a military career?
Well, I would always tell anybody and everybody, man, women, children, because I try to recruit them children too, just to make sure it's not the games they want to play or whatever for the rest of their life. I try to recruit them, and you just it's an experience that you can never ever imagine because it really makes you check yourself and what you can and cannot do.
Right.
And anybody that tells you anything bad about the military has pretty much just quit. They're just quitters in a way because I don't go for I had this injury, I had this flat foot, they wouldn't go in or whatever. The military is one easy organization that, whatever you do, you could tell them, you don't have to tell them your bad points. You can go in there and just do what you going to do. Don't lay down, just do it. And that's
Gotcha.
it. I mean, I'm not going to sit up here and have anybody really bad talk the military and whatever reason they didn't go in to make themselves feel good. I just pretty much cut. I don't want to hear it.
Right.
Gotcha.
Don't
So
want
definitely
to hear it.
you would encourage people to at least give it a try because they they never know what they might get out of it.
Yeah, because our boys, they're coming home. They only did one tour in the Marine Corps and one tour in the Navy. But by them doing it, it made me so proud they could always sit at the dining room table with me. You know what I'm saying? I
Right.
have the utmost respect on it. It's like, I don't even want to see you if you never want to try or whatever like that. You got your
Right.
problems, whatever. But they did it. They came out. They're going to come out with their honorable discharge. They got a place at my table 24/7.
There
Right
you
on.
go.
Right on.
You know, they
Good
didn't
stuff.
just stay years like I did. Even though one of them is married and he's going to start having babies, and there's nothing like having.
Oh
There's
man.
nothing like having. There's nothing. I mean, what do you do when you're married? You have babies, right?
That's you
Young.
right.
So it's nothing like having a zero amount of nothing to pay for when you're giving when you give your wife is giving birth to that baby when
Yeah.
you're in the
Yeah.
military. You pay nothing.
Yeah.
Right.
Now
They
you
do
go up.
take care of everything.
Now maybe you need to go to the hospital and find out how much it costs to deliver a baby these days. You know, and
It's
even when you die, you
yeah.
pay nothing, zero,
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah. Gotcha.
I mean, you can't
Absolutely.
beat it. You can't beat it. And I didn't do it for all of that. I didn't really even know about all the benefits that I was entitled to. My wife would tell you. I never went down to what is it called now, sweetheart? Not
Fort
Fort Lee.
Fort Greg Adams.
Right, Fort Greg Adams. I never been down to Fort Greg Adams until I got married. And my wife started going there and everything.
Hey, man. Hey,
Yep.
that's all right.
The commissary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we know. We know. Trust me.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so you did mention briefly you did embark on another career after the military. Can you kind of go into a little bit of detail about what that was like?
Oh, that was beautiful because I had always wanted to do it as a child. I remember at 6 years old telling my mother that, we were at the train station and one of these big locomotives came past us and everything, and we were getting ready to get on the passenger cars. I can't remember where we were going, but I looked at my mother and I told my mother that I was going to do that one day. And what
Wow.
happened, what was so funny was that after it was before I retired because I had a bunch of leave that I didn't sell back. So I stayed in, got my paychecks every first and 15th, but I was going to school up there at the community college in Philadelphia for that railroad program for CSX. And I didn't even have to do a resume. I didn't have a DD 214 to turn in because I was still active duty, but did all the courses, passed, and all they did was ask me, do you want to come in? I was like, yes, I do want to come in. Because if I didn't get it, I was just going to go back and put my right hand up and do some more, maybe 2 more years and come out.
Gotcha.
But
Gotcha.
right, so I was like, yeah, I'm your guy. So then
Right on.
again, went to Georgia for a week for some OJT. Showed up at the terminal and I started working. And 2 weeks later, I had to report down to Norfolk to get my blue ID card. So that my youngest and I, we went down there and got my blue ID. We got our blue ID card. That was the day I retired. So I
Nice.
never really skipped a beat as far as career wise.
Right.
I used to tell my daughters, I'm the real X man. I'm the real X man. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely, man.
I showed him
Yes,
the
sir.
4 paycheck stubs, baby, and I was like, "Hey, you better know it.
Yeah, that's right.
You better know
Exactly.
it, man."
I hear that. So, if you had to do it all over again, would you? Or what would you do differently?
I wouldn't do nothing differently. I went in and was having a good time. There were guys that went in with me. They were doing the same thing, having a good time, getting used to this new life and everything. And
Right.
uh, I saw some guys that, I mean, we went to boot camp together, and I think it was like maybe in my maybe 16th year or something in the service, and I was on one of the carriers, and I saw two of my buddies on there. Man, they had did real good. One was a master chief, and one had gone all the way up to senior chief. Man, and
Wow.
Wow.
they were so good, man. I couldn't wait to get off work and catch up with those guys, man, because we all used to work out in the gym together, and they cross rated. It was in a situation where nobody was getting really promoted in my rating, and a lot of the guys that I knew, they jumped into a rating that was wide open, and all they pretty much had to do was sign their name, and they got promoted. So, which I should have done, but at the time, I was young, and most of the ones that they were going after were shipbound ratings. So, and I wasn't trying to get on a ship, so I just wanted to stay at the squadron.
Right.
You know,
Awesome. I mean, that's a heck of a career. I mean, a lot of memories, a lot of experiences. So,
a lot of
what
s- a
does
lot of s- a lot of stories too, baby. You
I
heard them stories.
bet. Yes.
That's
Unfortunately, they're not G-rated, so we cannot share them.
You heard them
hey,
stories, man.
that's one of the ones you bust out the marshmallows. You know what I'm saying, for the
Eh,
campfire. Those some campfire
you
stories,
Popcorn.
know,
baby.
you know, Mello will tell you most of them when they bring these stories up. That wasn't me.
Yeah,
like
right.
like Shaggy said, that wasn't me. You know, one thing and another thing I'm so glad we didn't have was this um like we're doing now with the social media thing.
Oh
Back in the
yeah.
day, we didn't have all of this email. We didn't have all we had was some kind of comms on the ship where every time you went up there to the Mars station, you would always have to say over. The whole fleet can hear your conversation because you're on the radio and everything when you're talking.
Right.
She has to say over, you have to say over in return where after you finish your sentence, and that was a whole nother thing where I'm so glad that we didn't have it. And cameras with pictures and calling all the way home from your cell phone, and you're supposed to no. We straight concentrated on everything. That's when we had to put the pen to the paper back in
Yeah.
them
There
Right.
you go.
A
There you
lost
go.
the pen
art,
to them
if you
paper.
ask me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they don't have cursive writing in school no more because most of them don't write. They just type
Type,
on a
right?
phone. On
This
a
is
Absolutely.
true.
phone. So they
Absolutely,
just
man.
need to know the regular alphabet.
Yep. Yep. That's
I mean,
facts,
there's a
man.
lot of things, man. I could say, that I saw change up in the world, and I didn't get my first cell phone until I was on the railroad, which everybody on the railroad had to have a cell phone, and that was basically back when you had the pay phones because if the railroad called you, you had to call them back in a matter of what minutes, I guess, so they can get you down for, the crew on that train. So either you called them back with the cell phone, or you had to run to a payphone and you had a 1-800 number. You dialed that, and you got them on the payphone, man. I mean, that's how it's
Man.
changed. You don't even see
Yeah.
a payphone no
You won't
more. It's
catch them.
so
Yeah.
prehistoric now. It's not funny.
Exactly. Unless you in a museum, that's the only place you're gonna find one.
Exactly.
This
But they
is
used to be
true.
all over the place, man. And I'm glad we had a 1-800 number to remind us. I mean, and all you had to do is remember that 1-800 number and call back down to the crew room.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Man.
So, I guess after all of this, what does Veterans Day mean to you?
Well, Veterans Day means that to every uh, veteran out there, you can actually claim this day as your day. So when they say it's Veterans Day, like I'll say this is Anthony Chase's day, or like my best friend that went in the Navy with me, this is Calvin Alexander Day. You know, I mean, it's our day and we can claim it and we can always put our name on it. We don't have to say Veterans Day because we are the veteran. So
Right. Right.
I just want to wish everybody a happy Veterans Day, and you know you
Yeah.
did it. You're
Yeah.
one of the few. You're one
That's
of
right.
the few that have done it, and 4 years, 20 years, 30 years. You know, I'm
Right.
proud of everybody, man.
Amazing. Amazing, man.
That's true.
That's right.
I just
Well,
can't stand. I just can't stand those naysayers, man.
Yeah.
If you couldn't do it, you couldn't do it. Just say what it is. You couldn't do it. You didn't have the heart to do it.
right.
Right on.
Well, thank you again for sharing a little of your life with us. I'm incredibly proud of what you have accomplished. The amazing fact is that people never get a chance to meet their heroes. I was blessed enough to marry one of mine and gave birth to the two others. So thank you
Yes.
for being with us
Yes.
today.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Can't wait. Well, the Marine is coming home for Christmas,
Yeah.
and can't wait to see him. And be glad to see the other one when he gets home because he only came home in between duty stations
Yeah.
from when he left Poland and went to Bahrain. So,
Yep.
you know, be good to see them all. And he's
Yeah.
not going to bring that dog around here. Completely. That dog is going to stay exactly
Hey,
where it's
listen.
at now.
Listen, that dog might not be here by the time he get here. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
I hope the dog recognizes him and
I
don't bite him.
know. I know. That's what I was thinking, right? Might chew him up by that time. Shoot.
Yeah. Who are you and what are you doing here, you know?
Exactly.
Oh, wow.
Yes, indeed. Well, once again, Mr. Chase, thank you so much for joining us today. This will do it for yeah, absolutely, man.
Thank you for having me, man. I really enjoyed myself.
Absolutely. Glad to hear it, man. And for our viewers, that'll do it for this episode. Thank y'all for tuning in once again. Happy Veterans Day to all of the veterans out there. We thank you for your service. And with that, we out. Peace.
Peace.